Good afternoon. Before I should start the new chapter of geography today, I think you have all completed your question answers from ECO and the important facts you have learned. And now today I am going to start geography chapter 2nd from page number 7. Physical features of India. You have already learned earlier that India is a vast country with varied landforms. India is a big country, but it is having a various physical features like northern plains like Himalayas, islands, coastal areas, deserts. These are the landforms. Now, what kind of terrain do you live? Are you living in the plain region or hilly region? You have to say yourself. Now, if you live in the plains, you are familiar with the vast stretches of plain land. In contrast, if you live in a hilly region, the rugged terrain with mountains and valleys are common features. In fact, our country has practically all major physical features of the earth. That is, just now I told you that mountains are there, plains, deserts, plateaus and islands. You must be wondering how these physical features have been formed. We will learn more about major physical features of India and how they have been formed. So different physical features in elaborated way, and you will read what about these physical features. We find different types of rocks. Some are very hard like marble, which has been used for making the Taj Mahal. Now you know rocks are the very different types of rocks are there, and due to this disintegrated forms of rocks the soils are formed. So some hard rocks are there like marble, which has been used for making the Taj Mahal. Many of you might have visited to Taj Mahal. And some are very soft like soap stone, which are used for making talcum powder. The color of the soil varies from one place to other because soil is formed out of the different types of rocks. You know, from the parent rock, big rock, the soil is formed. When it is disintegrated, then in a fine particle the soil is formed. Have you ever thought about the causes of these variations? Most of these variations are caused due to differences in rock formation. India is a large landmass formed during a different geological periods which has influenced her relief. Now, besides geological formation, we know that our earth is formed in a geological variation in different ways. It had formed from a very thousand crores and millions of years ago. This is formed. Now, besides geological formation, a number of processes such as weathering, erosion and deposition have created and modified the relief to its present form. Now, there may be a erosion, there may be a weathering, there may be a deposition to form a soil. Now, earth scientists have attempted to explain the formation of the physical features with the help. Now, you will read how the scientists have explained about the various physical features with the help of some theories. Now, that time the scientists has searched some of the theories based on certain evidences. One such possible theory is theory of plate tectonics. One theory they have defined, that is a theory of plate tectonics. Now, according to this theory, the crust, the upper part where we are living of the earth, has been formed out of 7 major and 7 minor plates. Now, there were, from a very beginning, there were 7 major and 7 minor plates. Out of these plates, one of the part been concluded where we are living. So here is given the movement of the plates results in the building up of stresses within the plates and the continental rocks above. So we know the movement of the plates in a different direction it is, and it is formed maybe in a form of folding, faulting and volcanic activity. Folding the upper portion, faulting it's a down portion, and the volcanic activity. So broadly these plates, the 7 plates, here it's described broadly, these plate movements are classified into 3 types, while some plates some towards each other. Now these plates might be collide each other one upon one, might be they are going different direction from one side, and another may be coming towards each other. So some plates come towards each other and form a convergent boundary. We call it as a convergent boundary. Some plates move away from each other and form a divergent boundary. Now some of the plates, they are going in different directions, that is known as divergent boundary. In the event of two plates coming together, they may be either collide. Now some of the plates are coming together one by one, maybe they are colliding one upon one, or one may slide under the other. So here it is given, the page number 7, the plates, how they are coming together, that is a convergent boundary. Another, it is going in two directions, that is the opposite direction, that is a divergent boundary. Another, that is going up and down, that is a transform boundary. So in the event of two plates, they may be either collide and crumble, or one may slide under the other. At times they may also have horizontally passed each other and form a transform boundary. The movement of these plates have changed the position and size of the continents. Now there are 7 continents. We don't know how they have formed, how they have taken place due to these convergent and divergent. The movement of these plates have changed the position and size of the continents over millions of years ago. Such movements have also influenced the evolution of the present landform features of India. So among these movements, one of the India is created. Now do you know, most volcanoes and earthquakes in the world are located at a plate margin. Some of the volcanoes and earthquakes, they are already placed on the margins, plate margins, but some do occur within the plates. Some had occur only on the plate. The oldest landmass, now this paragraph is very important, page number 8. The oldest landmass of our country, that is a peninsular part, was a part of a Gondwana land. Our oldest part is peninsular part, and this peninsular part is a part of Gondwana land. The Gondwana land included India, Australia, South Africa, South America and Antarctica. Now Gondwana land, one of the portion, one of the plates under which the 7 continents being formed as one single landmass. It was before there was a one single landmass. The conventional current splits. Now there was a conventional currents which split the crust into a number of pieces. That conventional current had split it into different number of pieces, thus leading to the drifting of the Indo-Australian plate after being separated. Now one of a plate being separated, that is an Indo-Australian plate from the Gondwana land. So one plate had already separated from the Gondwana land towards north. They have shifted towards the north. It has shifted towards north. The northward drift resulted in the collision of the plate with the much larger Eurasian plate. Now this upper portion, it had collided with another plate, that is a larger Eurasian plate. Due to this collision, the sedimentary rocks which were accumulated in the geosyncline, when it had lifted up, the sedimentary rocks which have already assembled in the downwards, and that is known as a geosyncline, known as Tethys, were folded to form a mountain system of Western Asia and Himalaya. So in the Tethys, the downward, there was a Tethys under which this mountain being formed with the accumulation of the sedimentary. The Himalayan uplift out of, now Gondwana land is given in the box. It is the southern part of the ancient supercontinent Pangaea, with Angara land in the northern part. It is one of the part in the south, that is given the Gondwana land. The Himalayan uplift of the Tethys Sea, Himalaya being formed from the Tethys Sea in the down, and subsidence of the northern flank of the peninsular plateau, resulted in the formation of the large basin. In due course of the time, this depression gradually got filled with the deposition of the sedimentary. Millions of years ago, this Tethys Sea being filled with the sedimentary rocks, under which deposition of sediments by the rivers flowing from the mountains in the north and the peninsular plateau in the south. Some of the rivers from the north came down, and south it had filled in this way with the sediments. A flat land of extensive alluvial deposit led to the formation of the northern plains of India. After Himalaya, now northern plains being deposited with the flow of the rivers. The land of India displays a great physical variation. So our India had great landform, that is a northern land. Geologically, the Peninsular Plateau constitutes one of the ancient landmass on the earth's surface, and we know that Peninsular Plateau is also one of the part of a landform. It was composed it was supposed to be one of the most stable and blocks. This Peninsular Plateau, it was a very stable and land blocks. The Himalayas and the northern plains are most recent landforms. You have to note down the Himalayas and the northern plains, which have been formed on the north, are most recent landforms. From the viewpoint of geology, Himalayan mountains formed an unstable zone because still its height is growing. The whole mountain system of the Himalayan represents a beautiful, a very youthful topography with high peaks, deep valleys and fast flowing rivers are there. So the mountains is not only that standing, but it had formed a different topography like high peaks, deep valleys and fast flowing rivers. The northern plains are formed of the alluvial deposits. The Peninsular Plateau is composed of igneous and metamorphic rocks with gently rising hills and wide valleys. So Peninsular Plateau, it is composed of igneous and metamorphic rocks with the various hills and wide valleys. Now I should start the next page number 9, major physiographic division. Major physiographic division of our country can be divided into 6 parts. First is Himalayan mountains, second is northern plains, third is Peninsular Plateau, the Indian desert, the coastal plains and the islands. So each one will be described. The Himalayan mountains, the first one is the Himalayan mountains. You will see the map. First of all, you have to see the India map. You will know where the Himalayan mountains are, where the northern plains, peninsular, Indian desert, coastal plains and the island. The Himalayan mountains, the Himalayas, geologically young and structurally folded mountains, stretch over the northern borders of India. It is stretching over the north to northwest and northeast geologically. It's a very young and fold mountains stretching in the northern borders of India. These mountain ranges run to west to east direction from the Indus to Brahmaputra. It is stretching from northwest to northeast from Indus to Brahmaputra. The Himalayas represent the loftiest and one of the most rugged mountain barriers of the world. This is having a high hills, high mountains and the rugged mountains barriers. It is acting like a barrier, acting like a wall. It is protecting our country from a cold winds, and cold waves are coming from the Central Asia above. So this Himalaya is acting like a barrier. If there would not be a Himalaya, then what would have been to our country? It would be a frozen land. So they form an arc. It is just acting like an arc which covers a distance of about 2,400 kilometers. It is stretching near about 2,400 kilometers. Its width is given 400 kilometers in Kashmir and 150 kilometers in Arunachal Pradesh. The altitudinal variation are greater in the eastern half than those in the western half. So here is the greater in the eastern side, the greater in the eastern side and those of the western half. The Himalaya consists of 3 parallel ranges. When you will see the Himalaya, it is consisting of 3 parallel ranges in the longitudinal extent. A number of valleys lie between these ranges. The northernmost range is known as Great and Inner Himalayas. We call it as a Himadri. The first one, the northern part of Himalaya, we call it as a Inner Himalaya, Great Himalaya or the Himadri. It is the most continuous range consisting of loftiest peaks. Very high peaks are there and it's a very continuous, no broken is there with an average height of 6,000 meters. It contains all the prominent Himalayan peaks. Number of Himalayan peaks are here in this Himadri. The folds of greater, now here some highest peak of Himalaya is given, the height is given and the country name is given and the peaks are given. You will read once these highest peaks of Himalayas. The folds of great Himalayas are asymmetrical in nature. Now this height of Himalayas are asymmetrical, means some are big, some are small. The core of this part, the center part of this Himalaya is composed of granite. In this Himadri, the center part is composed of granite. It is perennially snow-bound, always it is covered with snow, and a number of glaciers descend from this range. From here only, the Himadri region, the glaciers are coming down. Now find out the names of the glaciers and passes that lie. You might have heard about the big glaciers. They are coming from the Great Himalayas. The name of the states are where the highest peaks are located. You have to find out. The range lying to the south of the Himadri forms the most rugged mountain ranges. The first one, it's lying in the south, the Himadri. It is a rugged mountain system and is known as a Himachal. The south of this Himadri is consisting of another part that is known as Himachal, or we call it as the Lesser Himalayas. The ranges are mainly composed of highly compressed and altered rocks. Now in this, what is the composition? Highly compressed and altered rocks are there. The altitude, the height varies from 3,700 and 4,500, and in Himadri you have read the highest height is 6,000. So here it is given the Himachal heights is between 3,700 and 4,500 meters, and the average width is 50 kilometer. Its width is given 50 kilometer, while the Pir Panjal range forms the longest and most important range. Here the Pir Panjal range is very important and it's the longest one, important one. The Dhauladhar, some of the other peaks are given. The Dhauladhar and the Mahabharat ranges are also prominent one. Not only Pir Panjal, the Dhauladhar is there, Mahabharat range is there. It is found in the Lesser Himalayas, Himachal. After Himadri and Lesser Himalaya you are reading, that is a Himachal. This range consists of famous valleys of Kashmir, that is a Kangra and Kulu Valley, and in Himachal Pradesh this region is well known for its hill station. So find out here, again it's written, location of the Mussoorie, Nainital, Ranikhet from your atlas, and also name the state where they are located. Afterwards you will purchase atlas, school atlas is there, which will be useful for you to see the land features of the India. The outermost range of the Himalayas. Now the last type of Himalayas, that is outer one, we call it as a Shivalik. They extend over a width, now width is given 10 to 50 kilometer, and have an altitude varying from 900 to 1100 meters. First one you have read, the height is 6,000. Himadri, Himachal heights is in between 3,700 to 4,500. Now Shivalik, last one, that is known as Shivalik, its height is given 900 to 1100 meters. These ranges are composed of unconsolidated sediments brought down by the rivers from main Himalayan ranges located further north. Now this Shivalik is formed by the main rivers. Big rivers are coming down where it is already deposit number of sediments. These valleys are covered with thick gravel and alluvium. These valleys are covered with thick gravel and alluvium. The longitudinal valley lying between Lesser Himalaya and the Shivaliks are known as dunes. Now another valley is given here in the outer one, Shivalik. Dunes are there. Dehradun, Kotli Dun and Patli Dun are some of the well-known dunes. Besides the longitudinal division, the Himalaya have been divided on the basis of a region from west to east. So like this way it has been divided into three parts. These divisions have been demarcated by the river valleys. Now these three are divided, can be seen with the river valleys. For example, the part of Himalayas lying between the Indus and Satluj. Now different parts are given here. Himalayas which is lying between the Indus and Satluj in the west side has been traditionally known as Punjab Hill, but it is also known as regionally as a Kashmir and Himachal Himalaya from west to east. respectively. The part of Himalayas lying between Satluj and Kali rivers are known as Kumaon Himalayas. So that is also one of the part. The Kali and Tista rivers, major rivers, demarcate the Nepal Himalayas, and the part lying between Tista and Dehang rivers is known as Assam Himalayas. So like this way, from northwest to northeast, these divisions of Himalayas been done with the help of these rivers. So there are regional names also is these broad categories. Find out some regional names of the Himalayas. Now the Brahmaputra, it is in the northeast. The Brahmaputra marks the easternmost boundary of the Himalaya. It is one of the boundary line. It is separating the country from Himalayas. Beyond the Dhyang Gorge, the Himalayas bend sharply to the south and spread along the eastern boundary of India. They are known as Purvachal. Now some of the Himalayas are demarcated. They are separated from this Brahmaputra river. That portion we call it as a Purvanchal, or the eastern hills and mountains. These hills running through the northeastern states are mostly composed of strong sandstone, which are sedimentary rocks. Now these hills are made up of sedimentary rocks covered with dense forests. Not only the sedimentary rocks it is, but it is covered with the dense thick forest. They mostly run as parallel ranges and the valleys. The Purvanchal, the easternmost Himalayas. The Purvanchal comprises the, now what is the Purvanchal? It is the comprise of, it is the assemble of 5 hills. That is the Patkai Hills, Naga Hills, Manipur Hills, and the Mizo Hills. So the Purvanchal is one of the part of the eastern country, and these are comprised of 5 hills. Now next I will start the northern Himalayas tomorrow.